Inside this very well packaged parcel is a box which says Camduck. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure about the name, but cam is obviously a camera, and duck may come from duck and cover, since this company specializes in making security cameras disguised as something else. In this particular case, it's a dummy smoke detector. So this is a security camera which kinda resembles your off-the-shelf smoke detector. The manufacturer has quite a few claims about their product on the website, which I will test and check later in this video. Inside the box there is a detailed instructions booklet and two USB cables, which are USB 2.0 with Type-C connectors. I'm not sure why there is two cables here, probably they just thrown in an extra one by mistake. The cables are about a meter in length, they are very soft and they are proper USB 2.0 cables. So you can use them to charge devices and also to transfer data from them, for example sync your phone or copy files over. The problem is, the camera itself does not have that functionality. It uses an SD card to save pictures and videos, and that's why they also include a USB card reader capable of reading microSD cards. The microSD card itself is not supplied, so you will have to use your own. And you also get some mounting screws and dowels. You are supposed to mount this on your ceiling the way you would normally mount a smoke detector, which this camera tries to imitate. So there is a bracket that is permanently attached to the ceiling, and if you twist the body of the camera, you can detach it and attach it back to the holder. My biggest concern about this camera is that it imitates a smoke detector, however, does not work as one. If it did combine the functions of a camera and a smoke detector, I would just replace my existing smoke detector with this camera to have both functions. Unfortunately, this is camera only. And also the camera itself is hidden behind this semi-transparent black window, which is not normally found on a real smoke detector, so this is kind of a giveaway if you know what to look for. If it was a smoke detector, I would just place it on the same spot and use the existing power supply to power this device. Speaking of power, obviously this camera requires power to operate, and it can be powered by three ways. It has two openings on the back, protected by covers, which you can open. The first one contains the slot to insert a microSD card, a reset button. You can also reset the camera from the app. However, if that is not working or not available for some reason, you can just use something thin and long, like a SIM tray tool, to press the button inside this hole. And also there is a USB connection. As I already said, unfortunately this camera does not work as a card reader. When you connect it to a computer, it's not detected as a device at all. It only uses USB connection for power. It is used to power the device itself and also to charge the onboard battery. There is a small plastic tab that you need to remove for the battery to actually make contact. And also, despite the sticker that the battery is not replaceable, I would still love to see what type of battery it is using. Turns out it uses your normal 18650 lithium cell, which is very commonly found in devices like flashlights, vapes, electric transportation means like kick scooters, some older laptops, Tesla car batteries, and in many other places. So this is a commonly used, readily available cell, and whenever this cell that is included in this device will start to lose capacity after a few hundreds of discharge cycles, you can easily get a replacement. However, this particular battery seems to be of good enough quality and it should last you for quite a while. A fully charged battery will allow this device to run for about 6 hours or so. If you connect it to wall power with a USB adapter, for example, the battery will act as a backup power, basically a built-in UPS. Apparently 6 hours is not enough for continuous monitoring, and you will probably have this camera plugged in to power all the time. The problem here is the USB connector protrudes to the top of the device, that means that you will need to drill a hole for the connector in your ceiling. The bigger issue though is the red LED indicator that shows that the device is charging. And since the case of the device is made of white plastic, the red light illuminates this plastic from inside, which may be another giveaway that this is actually not a smoke detector, but rather something else. So we have battery power, we have USB power, and this device also has a third way of powering itself, and this is wall power. So basically, inside this device, there is a USB charger built in. There are two wires on the top of the device, positive and neutral, and they are connected to your mains power. The manual does mention a wide range of supported voltages, so basically this is an international power supply, and you can use it anywhere in the world. Anyway, even when connected to the wall power, which would be much easier to do if you're replacing an existing smoke detector since they are not always powered by batteries, many older ones at least are powered from mains voltage. Anyway, even though I connected it to the mains power, the same problem remained. This red light is glowing through the sides of the device, which is a little bit annoying. And there are a few more LEDs on this device, which are hidden behind that semi-transparent panel I was talking about a little bit earlier. There are two LEDs indicating the state of the device, and when you turn it on by pressing a single button on top of the device, which is very similar to a button on a real smoke detector. Anyway, to turn on the device you need to hold this button for a while until two LEDs start to blink. They change color from blue to red and back, and probably this indicates something. However, thankfully, after about a minute, they turn off. So even though the device is working, those LEDs will go out, otherwise it will be another giveaway that it's something else. The device has two main operation modes. It can continuously record, or it can be activated by the inbuilt motion detector. The recordings are made on the SD card, which you need to insert into the device. The documentation says that first of all you need a high-speed card, and secondly the maximum volume is 256 gigs. However, if you use the app says that the maximum supported volume is 128 gigs. Anyway, the only card I have is this 64 gig card, and it works perfectly in this device. The camera works perfectly on its own. To watch the footage, you will need to remove the card from the camera, so first you will have to remove the camera itself by rotating it, removing it from the cradle and disconnecting from the power. Then you will have to eject the SD card, use the supplied card reader, and access the information on the card on your PC, or a Mac, or a smartphone or tablet if it does have an SD card slot, or you have an OTG adapter to connect this card reader to the device. However, you can also use an app. This camera has built-in Wi-Fi module, which supports both older 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi and newer 5 GHz Wi-Fi. To access the device and connect it to the network, at least for the initial setup, you will need an app. The app is named differently in the supplied documentation and on the Google Play Store. However, I have downloaded this one, which is called Camduck, the same brand as the camera. Through the initial setup, you will need to connect to the camera Wi-Fi directly. So you turn on the camera, wait for about a minute until it boots up, and it will show a Wi-Fi network. The name of the network starts with Camduck and adds with a random number which corresponds to the ID of this particular device. The password for all of those devices is the same. And this is actually a security issue. I didn't find any way to change this default password to anything else. I'm not saying it is not possible, but I didn't find a way to do so. And that means that you will need to connect this device to a Wi-Fi network, so it will switch from access point mode to a client mode, so no one else, like your neighbors or whoever, can connect to it with this default password. Since you probably wouldn't want anyone else to be able to see your camera through the app remotely over Wi-Fi. The problem with connecting this camera to your home network is that it is a Chinese device. And you need to put a lot of trust into it to allow it to be on your internal network. So maybe the best way to go is to have a guest network on your router. Most modern routers support guest networks, which is basically virtual Wi-Fi isolated from your main Wi-Fi, and connect this device to that network. The app also seems to use Amazon Cloud Services for something. I don't know what for, but I assume that AWS, the Amazon Cloud Services, are used to overcome the NAT of your provider so that you connect to the camera remotely over the internet, even though you don't have a dedicated external IP address on your router. So this way you can connect to the camera not only while you're on your home Wi-Fi network, but also from a remote location. And also, I didn't find a way to watch a stream from this camera on your computer in a browser, for example. The documentation specifically says that you cannot do that, you will need to use an app on your smart device. I am not sure about that, since the commonly used protocol for seeing images from security camera is RTP2P, and these letters are literally in the name of the app used. Moreover, for some video cameras from China, which are commonly known as V380, and they do support this protocol, however, it is disabled on the firmware level. You can find certain hacks online how to re-enable this protocol to be able to see the stream from this camera and use it in any other DVR app you want. The reason why those companies block the usage of this protocol is because they want to force you to use their app, since their apps are usually riddled with ads, and they also try to peddle some kind of plans for you to store images on their cloud services, which you need to pay for. To Camduck's credit, it does nothing of that. There are no ads in the app, and they also don't seem to have any paid subscription service. Anyway, you can connect directly to this camera using the default password, and after first connection, you can also enter the credentials to your Wi-Fi network, so this camera will change from access point mode to a client mode and act as just another Wi-Fi device on your network. That way you will be able to connect to this device through your Wi-Fi network without the need to switch the Wi-Fi on your phone from your router to the camera. After you connect your phone to the device in either way, you are able to see the feed from the camera, switch the settings from 1080p to 4K, and also control the camera movements. It turns out this camera has a PTZ control, and using the app, you can actually remotely rotate the camera 360 degrees, which is kinda neat. However, it makes a certain noise, so you won't be able to rotate the camera discreetly. There is also a zoom feature. Unfortunately, this is a digital zoom, so the image degrades severely when you try to zoom in on something. The app can also be used to take screen caps from the video stream or record videos, and those videos will be stored on your phone, which kinda makes sense. As I said, the seller makes quite a few claims on the website, and the most important of them are image quality. So it is said that this is a 4K camera compressing images and videos with H.265 codec, which is quite a recent, modern and good one. However, during my testing, even though I selected 4K in the app, the recordings made by the camera itself and stored on the SD card, and you can find them rather easily. The camera creates a new folder which is called record, and there is a date and a number, so you can find your recordings there. Unfortunately, these recordings are 1080p, that is full HD, not 4K, and they are done using H.264 codec, a very old one, not the newer H.265 codec, which provides better compression, better image quality. That means you will have better looking videos and photos that take less space. So the claims on the website are not true. When you try to record the video from the smartphone, despite selecting 4K, the videos are stored in even worse quality. They will not even be full HD, they are HD, using the same H.264 codec. It might be a little bit confusing where the app actually stores the footage, however, it gives you the full path, and you can connect your phone to your computer, for example, and follow this path to actually find the files and copy them over to your computer, for example. And also the videos recorded on the smartphone don't have sound, however, videos recorded by the camera itself do have sound, so it means it has an inbuilt mic. However, the quality of that sound is mediocre at best. This is a test recording of sound on Camduck hidden camera, and you may not be able to decipher quiet speech. You can control 8 of such cameras with a single app, but apparently the app has some bugs. For example, when you turn off the camera by pressing and holding the button, while the app still displays feed from it, when the camera turns off, the app will crash to Android desktop. And also some other features are not working well or don't work at all, so yeah, it's a Chinese app. The camera also gets a little bit hot while working, but nothing out of the ordinary. And the most interesting question, who is this device for? Well, apparently as a security camera, it may be not the best option. One of the reasons for this is most security cameras do not have an infrared filter. That means that they can work at night if you use an infrared light as a light source. In this shot, I use a smartphone which is equipped with a night camera which can use an infrared light as a light source to capture images at night. And I point the light in the direction of the camera, which is also working, and as soon as there is no light at all, the Camduck camera cannot capture any image. That means that it does have an infrared filter and it will not capture any images in the dark, which is a bummer for a security camera, right? And the image and sound quality is not great. That's why I will not even be showing any feeds from it because it's not too good. So it is what it is. It is a hidden security camera. And the target audience for this particular device are those who want to discreetly spy on, for example, their babysitter or the housekeeper or whoever without letting the housekeeper or the babysitter know that there is actually a security camera. Another demographic may be Airbnb owners who want to discreetly spy on their tenants. However, this is a shady area and illegal in many places, and this is actually a serious problem in Asia, especially in Korean and Japanese Airbnbs, where owners or previous tenants install hidden cameras, like this one posing as a smoke detector, to spy on the tenants and even sell some of the more explicit footage that they were able to capture to websites catering for certain type of content. So this is just to let you know to be on the lookout if you are staying in an Asian B&B. So yeah, it's not perfect as a security camera, but if you need a hidden camera, this might be an option for you. So if you need one, purchase links are in the description.
I am the god of YouTube!
Like, subscribe, jingle bells.